All right. Hey, everybody. We are doing collective reads today. We're going to do several decks here. I've got the standard Rider-Waite, and then I've also got the Crow Tarot. I'm going to do that one. And then I also have the Mystic Love Oracle. Ooh, Mystic Love Oracle. We got several things we're going to look at today, but Heavenly Father, Holy Spirit, Spirit Team, Angels, Guides, for everyone who tuned in, help me to deliver the collective message today for the collective, for the highest good and benefit of everyone involved, or that's going to tune in or will tune in or on the replay. This or something better. The highest good and benefit of all involved, please and thank you. All right, so we got several decks we're going to use today. This one's the standard Rider-Waite. And we've already had a card fly out of the deck. A couple of cards. You got cards flying all over the place here. All right, this energy is intense already. All right, so I'll tell you what I'm getting. These cards are traveling all over the place. All right, so we've got dum dum dum. You got the Tower card, but you got it upside down. It's not a bad place to be. It doesn't. You're going to continue to have opposition, but it's upside down, meaning there was some major things that you were able to sidestep, right? So you've been doing all the things. You've been keeping on your top of your prayer life, spiritual life. You've been, doing your cleanses spiritually. You've been getting out in nature, working on your shadow self. You've been doing all the things, right? You've got the card upside down. Now, if it was right side up, then you'd really be struggling. This is a bona fide struggle moment that you were able to divert a lot of that energy. Now, you did technically get this one upside down too, which is the Ten of Swords, which indicates that, you're on the tail end of. You're on the tail end of like some serious trauma there. So you get into recovery, regeneration, rebirth, and you're moving into, a new season there. So, with the collective read, you've been able to divert some serious, karma another direction there, right? You did get the Ace of Swords upside down, however, so there's still some work to do. Upside down, it just indicates lack of clarity, right? You want to, cut people out of your life, but you're not really sure where to start, right? This person or people I'm tuning into, and I don't make it, fit. If it don't fit, it doesn't fit. But you got it upside down, which means you need clarity, right? So that would be something to focus on with your intention work, would be to, focus on your clarity, get out in nature, actually start the meditation process, make sure you're trying to balance your chakras there. And that's going to help you get clarity, right? Because it's hard to cut people out of your life when the energy's hard to read, right? Now you've been working on yourself here, so you got the Tower upside down. You were able to divert some serious negative energy here, but you did, and the good news is you did get the Ten of Swords upside down, which indicates that you are moving into a new season. You've went through some serious backstabbing. Every single chakra in this dude's back has been stabbed. Like he's got every single chakra affected here. Like when I'm looking at this, like that's his chakra system, right? You see all his spinal column section, um, affected here. So he really needs to, he's in recovery mode, right? So it's upside down, meaning you've already went through this heartbreak. You've already went through this issue, right? So you're on the tail end of it. How do I know that? Well, you've got the Tower card upside down here, right? And I'm streaming live on multiple platforms. So if you see me move the cards around, that's what's happening. But oh gosh, I know that's hard, Rhonda. People, especially it's Mercury retrograde, so it's a prime season for craziness like that. Now, I'm never going to reach out to you. I don't do that. I don't have to. I'm not going to reach out for a rainbow read or any of that. Yeah, you people got to reach out to me through my Linktree, right? If you want that service, it's on my Linktree. Now, I'm doing donation basis tonight. Lynn Ruby, if you want me to do like an individual read, I can do that, but it's donation basis. So you go to my Linktree and then, pick an area to donate. I've got all the pay options listed there on my Linktree, and you just send in a donation. Doesn't matter what amount. I just need you to partner with me energetically there. And then I'll read your cards there. Yeah, that's on the agenda tonight. So we're doing a collective read, but if you want an individual read, that's donation basis. Just click on my Linktree, send in something to partner energetically, and I can read the energy there. But you've already been working on your shadow self. You've done a pretty good job with diverting some of this negative karmic energy. You're on the tail end of a recovery from a serious trauma here. This person's got every single chakra affected in this card. But it's upside down, meaning the energy is starting to turn around, right? Now, you did get the Ace of Swords upside down. So that does indicate that there is still some unclarity in the situation that you're, looking at. With Mercury retrograde, like, I'm just going to tell you what happened to me. Like, every single time we go through this, every ex that I have ever dealt with comes knocking, messaging. It's a frustration point. It's also a test. FYI, like, so Mercury retrograde, I've nicknamed it test day. Like, this is your cosmic exam, like you're in school and you're doing your final exams. I call Mercury retrograde now exam day or exam week. If you've ever went to college, I know when I went to college, we had exam week. Is a couple of weeks this time. I think it's like the middle of August is when it ends, but the energy right now is really intense, and that's part of it. The energy can get confusing. The fact that you've got this upside down indicates that you're definitely moving in the right direction. You want to cut people out of your life, but you're not really sure who to cut out and who's what in the situation. The best thing to do is just kind of chill out until the universe reveals more information there. Now, if anybody wants a individual read, I can do that. I'm doing donation basis, so just go to the link in my Linktree, send in something. Doesn't matter what amount you send in, $1. Partner with me energetically, and we'll read the energy for your individual question. But right now we're doing a collective read, so just take what you like and leave the rest there. Now. So you need a little bit of clarity, and you're dealing with a bit of chaos still. Now, here's the good news. This is a good card pull. This is the fourth card I pulled. Just a general. This is just the Rider-Waite standard deck. You've got the Three of Wands. So it's saying believe in your personal power, justice, boldness, domination, decisions, planning, and first steps. So this is a really good card to pull. If you were looking for confirmation, am I going to get justice in a situation? The answer is yes. It says it right there. right? Um, you may be a fire sign. You may be dealing with a fire sign, but I don't put a lot of stock into the actual astrological sign. Why? Because you can be like, I've got friends who are water signs and they've got the personality of a fire sign. So sometimes I don't put a lot of stock into their actual astrology as much as I do their personality type. Um, but yeah, this card now, if you want an individual question answered, we are doing a collective read right now, but you can send in a donation. I'll actually read you individually with whatever question you've got there. Just click on the link tree, and my options to send in a donation are on there. Whatever option works for you there. Just partner with me energetically somehow there. And then, make sure you're putting in the chat if you actually do that. Sometimes the alerts are slow. And then we can actually look at your individual question. But this one, you just take what you like and leave the rest here. But you've got a lot going on here. So you've got a tower moment that you've managed to divert some of the energy, which is good. Good job on your shadow work there. Still got some residual energies here. You got the Ten of Swords upside down, meaning you're in recovery mode from whatever trauma that you've been through here. And then you still have the Ace of Swords upside down, indicating that you are seeking clarity in the situation. You know, who to cut out of your life, who not to cut out of your life, that kind of thing. So this card is the Three of Wands. If you were looking for a yes or no, am I going to get justice in my situation? The answer is yes. It's right here. You've got, or the Two of Wands here. The answer is yes. He's got several options there to pick from. The world is, he's got the globe in his hand, world's his oyster kind of thing. But yeah, so nice first steps there. The Moon card, right? So there's still some mystery surrounding the situation. I recommend, especially with Mercury retrograde, I recommend letting your spirit team do their job. Don't try to do it for them. Put your request to the universe, put your request to source, your spirit team, and let them do their job. That's what they're there for, right? So I'm streaming on multiple platforms. If you see me move the card around, that's what's happening. I want to make sure both of them get a view of what the card is. Yeah, the Moon says, be careful of seeing things that are not there. So be careful of the illusion, subconscious fear, institution, mystery, deception, and dissatisfaction. So you still got some mystery involving, the question at hand here. Now, if you've got an individual question, I can do those. You just send in a donation, right? We're doing donation basis on the individual questions. Click on the link tree, send something in. Let me know in the chat if you've done that. That way I'll know to switch energies there. Right now we're doing a collective read, until I get a ping in the chat that somebody sent a donation in there. That way you're partnering with me energetically. That's an important part of a read there. But yeah, it says be careful of seeing things that aren't there, right? So that actually goes right along with the Ace of Swords upside down. You're seeking clarity, who to cut out of your life, but it's still surrounded in mystery. And right now, Spirit's not revealing 100% of the situation, because maybe the other person feels like a love read to me for some reason. It feels like it's starting to switch to a love read. The other person may be actually working on the things that they need to work on, right? So you need clarity, but they are working on themselves. They may just not be, advertising that they're actually working on their shadow self, right? The other person may actually be doing the work. They just may be low key or quiet about it, because it's kind of a pride thing. I feel like the dude energy or the male energy or the, again, I'm reading the energy, not necessarily gender specific. I'm just reading male, female energy. Doesn't mean that they're a male or a female. So just FYI, you're in a earth suit. But I'm reading the actual energy at hand, right? So keep that in mind. But the male energy that I'm reading is, they got a little pride. They might be a Leo or like a fire. Usually I'm reading like a fire sign real strong. So this person does have a hard time admitting, hey, I screwed this up. But in the back of their head, they're like, the person I'm tuning into, they admit, they're admitting to themselves, hey, I kind of screwed this up and I got some stuff I need to work on, but I don't want to just tip my hand in the card game just yet. They like to play games a little bit. That does indicate they may be like, I've noticed a lot of fire signs like that. So they could be Sagittarius, Leo, or an Aries. I'm leaning more towards Leo based on the person's energy I'm reading here. But yeah, so for people that just joined here, here's the cards. You started off with a tower moment that you've been able to divert successfully. You got it upside down. So good job on your shadow work. Good job diverting, whatever that looked like for you. You've done a good job diverting that negative energy, right? It came right at you and you were able to dodge that ball. So good job there. How do I know that? Your next card was the Ten of Swords upside down, meaning you're in a recovery mode now. You went through trauma. Some of it hit you, right? You still got a tower moment, but you were able to divert some energy there. So, you got it upside down, meaning you're on the tail end of whatever negativity hit you, right? You're starting to recover. You're getting your chakras balanced. You're, drinking more water, getting out in nature, getting grounded, right? You're starting that process now. You got these two cards. These are like mystery cards. So this one is the Ace of Swords upside down. Meaning, you're still struggling to figure out who to cut out of your life. You want to cut some people off, but it's like you're not really sure how to proceed, and you're not really sure which ones, right? There is some mystery involved here. So you got the Moon card, meaning, it says be careful of seeking things that are not there. So you want to be careful that you're not narrating the narrative in your mind or seeing illusions that are not there. For example, I want to give you something I deal with, so-and-so didn't call me on time. We had a date or we had like a luncheon or whatever, and they didn't call me. Now, I'm a Scorpio, so my imagination's pretty tilted. I have had to learn over the years to curb it because that can really screw up a relationship of any kind, friendship or otherwise, because I'm over here thinking, this person is, ignoring me. This person's intentionally, maybe they went out with somebody else. And the reality is maybe they're stuck in traffic. Maybe their phone died. Especially with Mercury retrograde, technology is really going to just go nutty buddy. So FYI, make sure you're backing up all your computer stuff. Make sure you're not making any large purchases until the middle of August. That's how long that energy is going to last. Every ex you've ever been with may contact you. They do me. I've already had the first hour of Mercury retrograde. I already had one hit me up. I'm like, no. And I call it exam week. Like when I was in college, we had exams that we had to study for. Mercury retrograde, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is test week for us in the cosmos, right? I think the universe gives us tests or exams, and I think Mercury retrograde is one of those time frames because I'm telling you, every button gets pushed. Everything that you didn't want to deal with gets overturned, and you have to deal with it. How do I know that? You've already got the tower upside down, so you've already been dealing with it. It's already been full tilt boogie for a lot of you guys here. But good job is, you're passing the test. You got this upside down, meaning whatever trauma you went through, whatever backstab situation you went through, good job. So you've diverted some real negative energy and you're doing good job on your shadow work. However, the person that you're thinking of, and if this does feel like a love read for some reason, I'm picking on some love energy, which I actually do have a love deck. I'm getting ready to whip this out and see what we got because I do get a lot of love questions. So stand by on that. We're getting ready to switch it to the love cards. But you got lack of clarity. So you don't really know whether to cut this person off or not. The energy indicates you need to pump the brakes a little bit because this person may actually be working on themselves. They've got a lot of pride. This person may be a fire sign. I'm really picking up on a strong Leo energy here. It's a male energy, but it may not be a dude, right? So I'm reading the energy. It's not gender specific. So the thing about when I'm reading energy, it could be in anybody. We're in an earth suit is what I call it. Like, but the energy's energy, and it's got feminine aspects and masculine aspects. Okay, so I'm picking up on a strong Leo. It's, Leos have a lot of really cool qualities, but admitting when something gets screwed up is really not their strong suit, and it takes a lot of shadow work here to get that plane in the air. But you've been doing a lot of shadow work, and they're acknowledging, okay, you've done a lot of work, and you've kind of flipped it over to a new season there. You do have a really positive card here. The Two of Wands is a really good card pull. So if you were wondering, if you were in a situation where you were dealing with, an injustice of some kind, so and so cheated on you, so and so stole something from you, you're going to get justice. It says it right there at the bottom of the card. Justice, boldness, domination, decisions, planning, and first steps. Believe in your personal power. So they're saying keep that energy positive, and your spirit team's working on some justice for you, because they're in the starting points of that. Now, if you've got individual questions, we do individual reads on donation basis. So just click on the link tree, send in a donation of some kind, or whatever payment option works for you there, and just make sure you're putting it in the chat. That way I get the alert, and then we can actually read you individually. Right now we're reading a collective, so you take what you like and leave the rest. But if you want an individual question answered, I can do that. You just send in a donation there, clicking on the link tree. Right, so that was the Rider-Waite deck. Now, I'm picking up on some love. I got this deck right here. I like it better. I've got the Fire Heart deck, and it's like the Scorpio in me's like, get therapy. Like, like the other deck I've got, like, it came highly recommended. When I looked at it, I was like, this person needs therapy. Every single card was like, so-and-so's thinking about you. So-and-so, I'm like, so-and-so needs a good therapist and some chill out time. Like, so I like this deck better. But your initial cards are looking really good. So you got the Tower card upside down. That's a good thing. You've done the shadow work, you've worked on yourself, you've diverted some energy there. You had the Ten of Swords upside down, meaning, you're starting a new karmic cycle. You went through some backstabbing, you went through some betrayal, you went through some negative stuff there that you've been able to divert a fair amount of negative energy. But there's still some clarity there that needs to happen, right? So you did get the Ace of Swords upside down, indicating, it's not a clear situation. You got it with the Moon card. So pump the brakes on cutting people out of your life just yet. Wait for them to reveal themselves. Like, I find that if I just sit back, I do believe in Bigfoot. I'm in the Appalachian Mountains up here, and he's pretty full throttle up here. He's got, I'll tell you, if he had a bank account, he'd be a zillionaire, because every flea market you go to up here, he has a t-shirt following. I got people that I went to school with. Now these people went into the military, so they're very physically fit, and they can do a 12-mile hike without a problem, right? So I've got friends that do that. They actually look for creatures in the woods and find them. It's creepy up here. You can get in the woods, and you can get lost in the woods and stay there. Like, I highly recommend not going in the Appalachia woods without help or some, some assistance, weaponry assistance there. Looking for Bigfoot. He's fierce. He's out there, and he is all over the woods down here in East Tennessee, Southwest Virginia, and he will jack some stuff up for you for real. Definitely believe in cryptids. I've seen them. They're all over the place down here. They just kind of roam around the street. All right, so we're going to do love read here. All right, so, all right, Spirit Team, what do you have for the collective in love? Yes, it's some Appalachia craziness up here, John. What do you have for the collective in love when it comes to their love life? We've had a lot of love questions in the chat. What do you have for the collective today as far as love? You've given us the general read. Um, I can re-review that here in a minute. But what do you have love-wise for the collective, for the highest good and benefit of everyone involved in listening? Please and thank you. Focus on the energy. Oh, we got some poking out of the deck here. Okay. Ooh, this is fun. Oh, somebody's going to court. Y'all might need some assistance there. Um, I've been doing spirituality for 30 years. This is the most vocal I've ever been about it, though. Like, I've actually done this for a long time. It's been more of a hobby for me. I actually went to seminary school for 8 years, and then I went through demonology Ghostbuster school, and had a team. And I took a sabbatical because I realized, okay, we're getting our tail feathers kicked here. And so I pumped the brakes and decided to really dive into more spirituality because I realized, okay, we're missing a chunk of info here. You've got this group of people over here that aren't struggling. They're able to handle heavy spiritual situations with relative ease and not go through, hell, high water, and half of Georgia, as my dad used to say, right? So I pumped the brakes on that process and decided to start exploring more spiritual topics, and I've had a fair amount of success with it. Um, I've learned some new techniques spiritually that's really been a game changer for me. Went to new levels spiritually. But yeah, I've got a background in seminary, and I've got a you know, very strong background in healing. I find that a lot of people that I do my healing services on do get a physical healing. I don't know why it translates that way for some reason. I can aim for their finances, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to get a physical healing now. I find that, let's say I'm doing a healing on somebody, um, you know, uh, and that's because she just needs more. She just needs more training. That's possible to do that, but you got to have the right instruction, right? And that's when I was training teams. I tried to emphasize, like, look, these things are real, and they will jack you up. You need to be fasting, you need to keep on your prayer life, and that's just the basics. And I find that whenever they crank up that CERN machine or whatever that thing's called, that's not enough. A standard 21-day fast, in my opinion, now is not enough. It's not enough. I fast my rear off. I've lost 30 pounds fasting. It's not working like it used to. This energy is very strong and it is very icky. And if you're not versed in spiritual warfare topics, I would highly recommend getting some books out and start educating yourself, because this energy now is very strong. It's not anything I've ever had to deal with in a long time. And these things mean business, right? They do not like the human race at all. At all. They do not like us. And I highly recommend getting on your prayer life and getting in, you're really starting to connect with your spirit team, your angel team, your source. That's what they're there for, is to help guide you through this icky crap. And the stronger connection you get with them, the better you're going to be able to navigate. I can't tell you how many times something was sent my way to kill, steal, and destroy, and I've been able to play dodgeball pretty good here. So, I actually teach spiritual warfare topics too. If I have enough interest in it, I will open the Zoom room and teach a topic. But right now, I haven't had a lot of interest in a class. But if I get enough interest in it, then I will do a class on basic spiritual warfare and how to navigate that. But your love read's looking real interesting. We are starting with a third-party interference. So if you've had questions, is so-and-so seeing someone else? The answer is yes. You already knew it in the back of your head, though, is what spirits tell me. It's Mercury retrograde, man. Just rip off the Band-Aid. I'm a Scorpio. I'm going to rip that Band-Aid all the way off and shove it up, where the sun don't shine with a cactus. That's how I roll. So just rip the Band-Aid off. Be like, hey, have that conversation that's hard. If you suspect the person's talking to somebody, they probably are. That's your intuition giving you opinion. You got that gut feel, you got the bubble guts. That's your intuition telling you, yeah, something's not right, right? And the cards are confirming, yeah, there is a third party interference. Now, that doesn't mean that they're sleeping with somebody. I will say that. Don't let your other cards that you got in the Rider Waite deck earlier does indicate that there's some information that you're not aware of. You got the Moon card, and then you also got the Ace of Swords upside down, meaning there's a lack of clarity in that situation for whoever I'm reading here, whatever. This is a collective read, so take what you like and leave the rest. But it doesn't mean to draw unnecessary conclusions. Be logical about it. Do your research. For instance, if you've got a live-in situation with somebody, don't kick them out of the house based on a theory. Figure it out. You suspect that they're talking to somebody, they probably are, but proof goes a long way, right? Proof goes a long way. So don't count. I'm in Tennessee here, so if I use a lot of soliloquisms, I'm sorry, but don't count your chickens before they hatch, right? As they used to say down here. But don't assume they are talking to somebody, but that may be an old flame. It may be a baby mama that they're having. That's what I'm leaning towards. Why? Because you actually got this card, legal issues. So whoever this person or persons are that I'm tuning into does have some legal issues they're getting ready to deal with. They're in a fair amount of pain. They're in a fair amount of agony and pain. So whatever this is, not only are they going to have to go through some legal issues, but they're having to deal with a lot of negative emotions here. There is a fated meeting indicating you may be getting ready to meet someone else. It's okay, because I find that we don't have just one soulmate. I hate that theory. It's like I've already had one come and pass away, and then I had another one show up, and then they transition. So I've had two soulmates transition, in the last 30 years, and that's been really hard to watch. But then I've realized, okay, not only they just transitioned energy, they're kind of still there, because I get spirit messages all the time from them, from both of them, right? They encourage me all the time. They know when I'm not feeling right, and I do get messages indicating that they're there. So energy just transitions, the body transitions, but the energy's still there, the soul is still there. So just that's some hope for somebody today. But you're going to meet somebody, some new people. This is your soul group, right? So what I find happen is if somebody, if your significant other that's being sent your way is not doing all the proper shadow work, spirit will send someone else, and it may be better. Be okay and be open to the fact that your spirit team can crank out something better. They always shock me, and I have not been as specific as I could be. I have learned recently that I am not specific enough. I started getting eerily specific. Like, okay, I want them to have hair versus a bald head. I want them to have some teeth. I want them to bathe. Like, get specific with with source and your spirit team, your angel team, on what you want. Because if your baby daddy, your baby mama is not cutting the mustard, they're talking to people here. This does say third party interference. They're talking to other people. You suspect it. You don't quite know for sure, though, because when we were pulling the Rider Waite deck, you did get the Moon card indicating you don't have all the information. So don't start the Game of Thrones just yet. Until you have solid proof that this person is going out and cheating on you. But if you have a suspicion already, there's a good chance your intuition has already revealed something to you. That's your intuition kicking in. You already know something's off. It probably is. I'm just confirming what you already know. Now, this person regrets decisions because they're in agonizing pain, right? This is a card of regret. They've made some poor decisions. They've not navigated that properly. And now they've got themselves in a bit of legal trouble. So I would wager if you've got a baby mama, baby daddy, you're getting ready to go to court. The cards, when we were pulling the Rider Waite deck, you got the Two of Wands, which indicates justice will be yours. So if you up against a court date, or this is something, This may be somebody specifically I'm reading here, doesn't have to be male or female energy. I'm just reading the energy of the situation. But if you're going to court, you're going to be successful, because the cards indicated it in the other deck there when we were pulling those earlier. You had really good energy for justice popping up in the Rider-Waite deck there. Now, you have a secret admirer, and they're too shy to come forward right now. So in the midst of all this crap with baby mama, baby daddy, and all of this, you actually have a secret admirer coming through too. So you've got more than one. You got more than one person in your energy here to navigate through there. All right. Cool. All right. Just looking through the alerts there. Yeah. So you have a secret admirer there. So just be you, right? When it comes to secret admirers, they can be too timid to come forward a lot of times. Now, this is something that you can ask your source or your spirit team to help with. The reason for that is I find that sometimes people need a push, right? I'm a Scorpio, so that energy actually irritates me a little bit. I don't like indecisive people. So I will manifest intentionally, people who are not indecisive. And I will specifically tell my spirit team, I don't want people who are indecisive in my energy, especially significant others that are supposed to be, they're supposed to be for me, but they're super indecisive. We got a secret admirer here, but they're timid and indecisive. I don't like that energy. So I actually ask my spirit team, okay, if they're not decisive, send the next person who is, because you got a soul group. You don't have just one soulmate. I've already been through several here. All right. So they're saying time for reflection. This card that we're pulling is upside down for you. So that indicates that you are not taking the proper time to rest, relax, and reflect on, what needs to happen next. So they're saying, please take the time to, do the things, rest, relax, do your shadow work. They're saying take the proper time to actually do that there. So, right, don't skip that step. Yeah, and this card confirms that you got your spirituality, spiritual awakening is upside down. So you really haven't tapped into your full spiritual potential that you could be tapping into. Yeah. Let's see. All right. You could be not tapping into your full spirituality, right? Because they're indicating, that you're not taking the proper time to rest and relax here to get your divine intervention, to get your awakening that you're looking for. You're not taking the proper time to do that. Intimacy bonding. If you've been trying to do maybe one night stands, I highly recommend, because you've got the spiritual awakening upside down here, right? And then you've got this one, which is, intimacy bonding, but you got it upside down. So that to me indicates that, not only are you not doing the spiritual work, but you kind of into booty calls here. Like, this is kind of a love collective read. It has its place, but it's not necessarily helping you on a spiritual level, right? Because each and every person that you connect with, you are absorbing some of their energy, and that can be an issue, right? I find that a lot of people don't put a lot of emphasis into the spiritual part of that, and unfortunately they get themselves in a jam spiritually. They start having weird medical symptoms that they didn't have before. They start having personality quirks that they didn't have before, right? That could indicate that you got a soul connection with someone that you've connected on a quick level with, but not really a spiritual level with. You connected on a quick level, but not on a spiritual level here. And now you've got a soul tie that you got to cleanse and clear. And I can help with that too. But it was unnecessary. It didn't have to happen, right? You put yourself through some unnecessary crap there. Um, this person is not necessarily thinking about you right now. That's kind of a kick in the teeth. Um, that kind of sucks because we all want to think, okay, so and so's dreaming of us, like the song says. But sometimes people really don't. Sometimes people are a-holes, right? This person sounds like a real a-hole. They do. I'm like, I don't like their energy. I don't like their attitude. And I would literally kick them to the curb if I was in your position. But I'm not. That's your decision to make. But, this person is not necessarily thinking about you right now. If you wondered, is this person thinking about me? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Um, they are also not single. This person is actively seeing someone, right? You've got single, not in a relationship, upside down, indicating they are, in fact, talking to somebody. They are connecting. I would wager it is not a strong spiritual connection. How do I know that? Because you got these two cards upside down. So um, this person is not necessarily looking for a long-term relationship. They're not looking for intimacy bonding. They're looking for they booty smack, right? They're looking for a good time. They're not looking for a soulmate right now, but they are connecting with folks. So just FYI, I know that may be a kick in the teeth. Take some time, take some deep breaths, get a punching bag, get a punching bag if you need to. But if the question at hand was, is so and so thinking about me? The question is no. They're not thinking about you right now, and they're kind of like not in their spiritual mode either. They've not really been working on their spirituality like they should be, and they're in it for a quick roll in the hay, as they used to say down here in Tennessee. They're kind of looking for a quick booty call. They're not really looking for intimacy right now, this person that you're thinking of. So my thing is, there's more fish in the sea, a lot more, and there's somebody out there that your spirit team can align with you properly, but you've got to work on you. So this person is not going to show up if you haven't done the shadow work, right? So your other reading over here indicates that there's some factors here that you're not aware of at play, and they're saying to keep working on you. The more you work on you, the more that energy aligns, and your spirit team will start to send people that align with your energy and your higher vibration, right? You start working on you. Don't worry about the other person. Figure out what you want, right? Figure out what you're looking for in a person. Get your list out, get your shadow journal out, and start figuring out what you're looking for in a person. Qualities, physical qualities. My spirit team has been on me to get very specific, because if I am not physically attracted to somebody, I won't give them the time of day. I'm too busy. If you're not brushing your teeth, taking a bath, and getting into Planet Fitness like I am, I'm going to skip you over. You're not worked on your personals, man. I don't want to look at you and cringe. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be intimate with somebody that I can't handle looking at, right? So get specific with your spirit team. Be like, don't send me somebody that's bald if you don't like bald-headed folk. Don't send me somebody that's missing their front teeth if that bothers you, right? It's okay to get specific with your spirit team and say, hey, I need some specifics here. I've got to be attracted to the person you're sending, and so far I'm not attracted to these people you've sent. I've had to do that with mine. Like, they've got to be on top of their spirituality, because guess what I do? I'm on here doing spiritual stuff, right? So they've got to be aware of their spirituality, right? They got to take a bath, brush your teeth, get some smelling good on, get into Planet Fitness. You don't got to be a Barbie doll, but I do expect you to be able to keep up with me physically. Go for hikes and walks and stuff, right? So that there's some things that I look for. I'm just kind of sharing my process with you guys today. But You're looking for that safety and comfort, right? This is love read right now, collective love read. um, you're looking for that safety and comfort. The only issue with that is that you are missing a spiritual aspect here. Safety and comfort isn't allowing spirit to do what they need to do, right? Your spirit team's trying to bring in some good stuff, but unfortunately, you're missing the mark here. You're not catching the signs, you're not catching the synchronicities. If you are, you're ignoring them, and your spirit team's like, pump the brakes, start working on yourself, and then the other person will show up that's supposed to be there, right? Start working on you. If you haven't, now's the time to do that. This person's energy that I'm tuned into, it can be male or female, I'm just reading the energy. um, they're not looking, this person is not looking for intimacy bonding. They are looking for a quick booty call. This person's booty Bob. I don't know. I don't know who this person is, but I'm tuning into somebody that's like, I'm single and ready to mingle. I don't care about spirituality. I just want the booty smack. It's Mercury retrograde, folks. Steer the boat away. It's a bad time. This is gonna last till the middle of August. Steer the boat away the other way. Like, get in your shadow journal, start working on yourself, and the person that you're supposed to be with will show up if you're working on spirituality. Now you got these cards upside down indicating you may be, missing out on some spiritual stuff here that you need to be working on, right? um, if your question was, is this person thinking of you? No, they're not. That's a kick in the teeth. You clearly got this card upside down. Spirit don't lie. These cards don't lie. I pray about it pretty clear when I pray over the cards. Um, they not thinking about you right now, boo. It's okay. Work on you. Make sure when you're talking to Source, when you're talking to your angel team, your spirit team, make sure that you let them know, I need somebody who's going to think about me, who's going to call me, who's going to contact me. I need somebody who takes a bath. I need somebody who's not missing their front teeth. I need somebody, make sure that you're getting specific with your spirit squad. Otherwise, they're just going to start showing folk up and they're going to test you. So Mercury retrograde is test week. This is exam week, like in school. This is your cosmic exam week. They're going to bring back all your exes that live in Texas, right? They might actually live in Texas. I don't know. That song just popped in my head. So you might have an ex that actually lives in Texas. But they're going to bring it back and they're going to test your mettle. Have you learned your lessons that you needed to learn? Yes or no? So to me, that's what Mercury retrograde is all about, is the universe testing your mettle there a little bit. Have you learned your lessons? Are you ready for this person that you want to show up? Have you done the shadow work? Well, Mercury retrograde will reveal yes or no. And we've had a bunch of them this year. So, Mercury retrograde is your kind of like your exam week in school. We got it all the way through the middle of August, but the energy right now is super strong. Um, you know, you got gambling, taking a chance upside down. So right now you are not willing to step out and take a chance on somebody new. You are looking for a safety net. And that, I get that. A lot of people won't make the certain changes they need to make because they are looking for that safety and comfort. But Mercury retrograde, you can use that energy to your advantage and you can say, look, what if? What do you have to lose, right? By getting your shadow journal out, writing down exactly what you want in a mate, and then working on those qualities in you. You have to reflect the person that you want to attract. So if you're not brushing your teeth, doing your hair, and getting into Planet Fitness, guess what you need to start doing? Get the hair coloring, get the pump and iron out, start pumping iron to get rid of the mud flaps that irritate you. I've had to. I've lost, I went from 340 pounds and I'm down to 185, and I've had to really get in the gym and start working on the belly flab, right? So I've got some issues I'm working on there, but start doing the things for you, and then that person that you're looking for will show up. The more you work on you, then your spirit team will actually show you. Now, it says competition, the other woman is upside down. So if there was a specific woman that you're thinking about, a specific dude that you're thinking about that this person may be talking to, Not necessarily. This indicates that this person is really just in it for a quick booty call. They're not really talking to a specific significant other from their past or present. They're just looking for, like, maybe a Tinder date for the night. Like, this person is not thinking about you. They are thinking about their physicals, and they are not in their spiritual zone at all. Is the energy that the cards just pulled. Um, Competition, the other woman, you don't got to worry about this lady. She don't even have a dog in the race. Whoever they are, whoever this dude is, whoever this energy is, they're not thinking about them either. So they're not winning the race either. So that give you a little bit of comfort there. um, Heartbreak shattered. So this is upside down. So you may have already, I may be just confirming something that you already know, right? How do I know that? Well, this card's upside down, meaning, okay, you've dealt with a lot of heartbreak, but you're dealing with it, right? You're dealing with it. You've started the shadow work process, and you're starting to process the heartbreak. It's starting to, the feelings are starting to ease. You're feeling the feelings, you're releasing them as they come, and you are starting to move that energy, because your other reading over here with this deck, with the Rider-Waite deck, indicated that the Ten of Swords was upside down. So that means you are starting a new karmic cycle. You have done quite a bit of shadow work there. And guess what's going to happen when you do the work? This won't happen until you start doing your shadow work. But when you start doing the work, if you build it, they will come, like the movie says. Right here it is. This is your confirmation when you start working on this energy yourself. When you start working on yourself, getting in the gym, getting your appearance where you need it to be, right? Be the person that you would think somebody would want to be attracted to. If you're showing up to a date in your pajamas, is that really the right energy you want to put out there, right? um, start working on the things. um, don't talk about your ex every time you're on a date. I don't know who needs to hear that, but that's an irritation point for a lot of people, including me. Like, that's the worst thing ever, is for somebody to talk about their baby mama or baby daddy for a 2 hour date time frame. That drives me absolutely bat crap crazy. Like, get over it and get some therapy, but don't bring that energy to the date, right? FYI. um, that's a spirit message for somebody. But when you start this shadow work, you're going to get the results you're looking for, but it's not going to happen until you start, you know, getting into and being honest with yourself. You got this upside down. So right now, you may not be 100% honest with yourself on some things. And you need to start getting honest, because this is, Mercury retrograde. This is a season of honesty. So they're saying, get honest with yourself and where you're at. Get honest with what you really want, what irritates you, what doesn't irritate you as far as a mate goes, right? Um, Start writing some things down, but start getting honest with where you're at and where you want to be, right? So that was the love read. Um, Now, do. All right, now I'm going to just pull some crow cards here, because I just really like this deck. Um, I love the artwork on this thing. This is also technically another variation of the Rider-Waite deck. We did pull those cards earlier. However, I really, really, really love these cards. They're absolutely gorgeous. They've got crows on them versus, the standard pictures. All right, Spirit Team, what additional messages do you have for the collective tonight? We've looked at a lot of information for the collective in love. We looked at a lot of information, and it's been centered around love. But what additional information do you have for the collective tonight? This or something better, for the highest good and benefit of everyone involved, please and thank you. What additional information does Spirit have for the collective tonight? that they may need to know for the week coming up. Okay. Ooh, that's a good card. All right. So you're starting out really, really strong with the Ten of Cups. This is a really good card to pull, but it's in a past position. So the issue I've got with it here is that it's not showing up in a future position in the deck. It's showing up at the very start. So you started out really strong with this person. This is really getting strong love vibes tonight. I'm trying to steer from it, but the cards are steering me back in that direction. So this is just an additional confirmation of the other two reads that we just did. But I like the artwork on this deck. It's got some beautiful artwork on it here. You got the Ten of Cups. So your relationship has started out very, very strong, very, very solid. You guys went on dates, you did the things, you communicated, you've had a happy ever after. Very good start here to a relationship. However, you're getting some upside down cards here. So the Empress upside down. Now this can be male or female energy. It doesn't. I'm just reading the energy. It's not gender specific. But you've got the Empress upside down, meaning you're not stepping into your full power and abilities, and that's been a theme of tonight. That the shadow work has not been done all the way. You've done some shadow work. You've done some working on your personals, but there needs to be more done, right? So. FYI, in order to flip this card upside down, additional shadow work is needed. All right, I think it's getting ready to do a puzzle here. Give me a second. Make sure I'm not a robot. All right, I had to let him know I'm not a robot. All right. But yeah, you've got the Empress upside down, meaning you're not stepping into your full power. The other love readout in the other deck indicated that you're not really tapping into your spirituality 100%. You're kind of looking for booty calls versus, strong relationship connections. You're just looking for a quick connect. And it has its place, but unfortunately, from a spiritual perspective, you are collecting other people's energy and baggage. And if you're not doing your cleanses, you will see some side effects over time from that. So just to FYI, from a spiritual perspective, some people steer clear of that, not because they don't want to have a good time, but because for me personally, I steer clear of it now because I don't want your excess baggage energy in my energy. I've worked really hard to keep my energy clear, and I don't necessarily want another person's baggage. So the theme of the night is there's some more shadow work that needs to be done here to flip this energy upside down. You got the Empress upside down. So your relationship started out super strong. However, there's been, some indecisiveness. There's been some energy there that, the other readout that we've done a little bit earlier in the collective read, indicated that not all the spiritual work that needs to be done is being done, right? Start working on that, right? Because it is affecting your finances. Ultimately, even though we've had a very strong love readout today, you're not where you need to be financially. This card does indicate that. Your lack of indecision there, you're not doing all the spiritual work that needs to be done. You've done some work, but there's more needed. And there's been multiple cards that's indicated that there's certain things in the situation you're not seeing. If you do the proper spiritual work, proper divination work, you will see the information you need to see to make those decisions, but you're not going to get there without that spiritual deep dive, right? The person that you're, looking to connect with is not doing their work either. This person, this King of Cups upside down. So the energy is maybe a bit moody. They're emotional intelligence factor is not as high as it could be. They are maybe in like a selfish mode mentally. This person that you are looking to connect with is also not doing, they're also not doing their spiritual work here. So both people kind of need to start getting in their, you know, get it staying in their lane and start working on themselves. So the theme of the night is work on yourself, and the right person's going to show up, because this energy tonight of all the cards we pulled is very temporary, very, very booty call centric, and not deep relationship, connection there. It's not there. The proper shadow work has not been done 100%. So, Spirit's saying if you want to get back to this, then you're going to need to start working on yourself. And what does that look like? Well, that means getting honest with where you want to be in a relationship. Get your journal out and get really specific on what you're looking for. Like for me, I had to get specific on like physical attributes of someone that I'm looking to connect with. Now that could be friendship or otherwise, whatever you're looking to connect with. You need to get very specific with your pen and paper during this Mercury retrograde time frame and use that energy to your advantage, right? For example, for me, I was not specific with, personal appearances and hygiene. And, people kept showing up that didn't take a bath and had no teeth. And I'm like, what even in the hell is this? And I would ask my spirit team, and they're like, well, you didn't get specific. And I think they did it just for jollies. Like sometimes, the energy of Mercury retrograde, I tell people it's almost like the exam day in school. You have exam week and you have to study, and the universe gives you exam week, and this is it, right? So Mercury retrograde, in my opinion, is exam week, like you're in school, right? You're in Earth school, and it's exam week all the way through the middle of August, right? You're going to be thoroughly tested. All the X's are going to show up and test your mettle. All the things are going to happen that's going to test your mettle. Are you working on your patience? Are you working on yourself? Are you being wise with your money choices? This is upside down. So right now they're saying don't get super splurgy with your money. Don't make any large purchases right now. Watch your finances closely. Budget. Make a budget and stick to it. Pay your bills first. Don't buy the flat screen TV if you haven't paid rent. I know that sounds basic, but somebody needed to hear that. Go pay your rent. You know, go to your friend's house and watch TV. The chariot is upside down, so they're saying, maybe rushing through a process is not the proper time frame to do that. It is the time to slow down a bit, take some time for yourself, and start working on yourself. So you have the chariot upside down here. So the energy is not conducive to go full steam ahead right now. That's, you're Mercury retrograde. So it's their spirit's going to pump your brakes, and they're going to have you work on all the junk that you haven't worked on, right? This is spiritual exam week. Mercury retrograde's like the exam week in school. Welcome to exams, right? All the X's are going to show up. They're going to push your buttons. Your spirit wants to know, have you learned your lesson? Have you learned it? They're going to test you. They're not going to show that person up that you're trying to manifest without a test. They need to see, have you done the proper work, right? And so far the cards indicate that more work is needed. Why? This one's also confirming the other cards of the night. The High Priestess card is upside down. You're not tapping into your full potential intuitively, right? That we've gotten 4 or 5 cards tonight that indicate that, right? So they're saying you're kind of in a superficial energy right now and not really tapping into full spirituality. They're saying pump the brakes, slow down, start working on your inner self there. The Magician, he's also upside down, right? Another confirmation. Start tapping into your intuition. You want this guy right side up. You want your manifestations to manifest properly. That's not going to happen if you're not doing the shadow work. So that means getting in front of the mirror every day. And, if you wake up feeling like crap and you not liking yourself, you're not liking the energy, change it, right? Actually get in front of the mirror, and you're going to tell yourself, I am healthy, wealthy, wise, and I am worthy to be blessed. Now that's going to feel super weird at first. If you haven't done any shadow work, if you start telling yourself that every day at first, it's going to feel super weird. I recommend looking at yourself in a mirror. It does amplify the effects of the shadow work and makes it a bit quicker there. Um, but start somewhere. Go for walks, go to the gym if you have a local gym. Start with a walk. Get in touch with nature. Um, Start working on yourself, and the right person will show up. Now that means you need to get specific with your spirit team. What do you want them to look like? Do you want your person to take a shower? Let your spirit team know that. Do you want your person to have a specific hair color? Let your spirit team know that. Do you want them to have all their teeth? Let your spirit team know that. Get specific. Like, do you want them to have a job? Do you want them to live by themselves? Do you, start analyzing what you really want. Don't manifest it until you're sure of what you really want. That's an issue that I see a lot of people dealing with, right? Um, yeah. So that is it for the energy reading tonight, guys. If I, like last night, I struggled to sleep. If I get in that energy again, I will be back on here trying to do some energy healing, because I'm not going to sit there and not utilize that energy. I was up at 3 a.m. and I was wide awake, so I could have gotten on here and done an energy healing, and I passed that opportunity up. I'm not going to do that again. So, um, if I'm able to sleep tonight, I'm going to go ahead and sleep. But if I'm not able to sleep tonight, if I'm still feeling the weird energy, I'm going to transmute it, and I'm going to do it live. So just, make sure you're doing the follow and, hitting all the likes and the follows there. That way you get the alert if I do decide to go live again tonight. You get the alert, right? If you're a night owl and you're up late, I may actually be on here again doing an energy healing on the next go round, right? Because we've read the cards. The next one will probably be like an energy healing. So be blessed. I return all your energy back to you with love, light, healing, hope, peace, blessings, and love of all kinds. I speak that you have a fantastic week, that you start working on your shadow work and you start really getting down to the nitty gritty of who you want to manifest and who you want you to be, right? Be blessed. That is the message of tonight. And I hope you have a great week.